Hi, welcome to the Food Tube Network. I'm Cooking Pal, and we are at the best brewery in San Jose called Biersch. We're going to go inside and see what they're all about. Let's check this out. We're here talking with Dan Gordon, brewmaster, beer god, chef. Dan, what led you to a career in brewing?
Well, I had to cut the bar bill down somehow, and I ended up studying brewing engineering at the Technical University of Munich. I got turned on to manufacturing as a whole by growing up in Silicon Valley. It used to be Santa Clara Valley, where there were a lot of canneries located, and I loved the manufacturing aspect of my summer job. And then saw when I was an exchange student that you could study brewing engineering in Germany and apply for the program, and the rest is history.
Awesome. Tell us about the German purity law.
The Reinheitsgebot. It's a great law. It was developed by the Duke of Bavaria in 1516. The reason behind it was that you had the witch's brew mentality, where people were throwing in branches of all sorts to season the beer, using cow bile, rabbit bladders, things that just disgusting elements.
Sure.
And the Duke of Bavaria finding time out, we're going to only use 4 ingredients: malt, hops, and water. Yeast they didn't know about back then because it was spontaneous fermentation, but that was added on with the 4th ingredient once they discovered what it was.
All right.
We source it from around the world, literally trying to find the very best. So a lot of my key ingredients that gives, for instance, the caramelized Munich malt and Munich malt that comes from Bamberg, Germany. One of my classmates has a malting facility out there. I borrow all of our hops from the Hallertau and Tettnang regions of Germany from classmates also. So I have this nice network. Our Pilsner malt's coming from central Canada, which is actually almost as expensive as bringing it in from Germany, literally. It's just a very costly way of brewing, but we brew without regard to cost, trying to get the very best of the best. And the other thing we do is we grow our yeast from a test tube and use it only one time. We're the only brewery in the world that does that, so we have a continuous propagation system going on.
Nice.
To make it as consistent as possible.
How did Gordon Biersch find each other?
Oh, well, I wrote a business plan when I was in grad school. I actually bought brewing machinery that's in the Palo Alto Brewery restaurant where we first started up, and had met Dean Biersch, who was approaching it from a restaurateur's background. I had the beer and food. He had the front of the house, the design, and all that operation experience. And we were introduced by a common investor, merged forces, put our 2 projects together, and it ended up being Gordon Biersch. We flipped the coin to see whose name went first.
Okay, beautiful.
Actually, we flipped the coin to see who was president, and then my name went first on the title.
Awesome.
Well,
what are some of your tips when pairing food with beer?
Well, first, there are no rules. That's one of the nice things about it. It's evolved similar to wine, where whatever you personally like is what you should drink.
Right.
That's the number one goal. But I feel there's certain ideal combinations, like when you have intensely flavorful ethnic foods, Thai, a spicy Thai cuisine, or maybe some Mexican cuisine or something like that. A Pilsner goes great with that. Any meat-oriented dishes, a richer, maltier beer, such as our Märzen or our Winterbach, would be more appropriate for that. And the Blonde Bock goes with everything.
Okay.
Latest release. Limited release, only 3,500 cases. Mike's an ice box.
What are some advantages when cooking with beer?
Well, what I love to do with beer in cooking is primarily braising meats. It's the number one application, I think. If you use a 50-50 combination of beer and water when braising meats, one of the things on our website is the Märzen barbecue ribs. Okay. And I strongly suggest trying that out because it's a great way of doing it. And what we do is we braise the ribs with a 50-50 beer and water combination first. That gets the meat tender, fall foam, and then we make a barbecue sauce with the Märzen in it also. And what the braising part does is it locks in the flavor. It doesn't leach the flavor out of the meat, and it creates this kind of like balance. It also makes it more tender and juicy. And then the technique for doing that also is you start at a lukewarm temperature, bring it to a simmer, and then bring it back down with lukewarm so that the pores of the meat cooks down and locks in the juices.
Right. Tell us about your garlic fries, your famous garlic fries.
It was they acquired a cult-like following. It originated when I was translating for one of the professors at the Technical University of Munich. He's basically the garlic professor. He had a visiting professor from the United States. I was out there in the field doing simultaneous translations for about 10 hours. And at the end of the day, we had about 20 dishes with garlic in them. These guys are actually in the field pulling bulbs out of the ground, peeling off the cloves and chopping on them while we're out in the field. So it was an amazing experience. And I grew up in Santa Clara County and was always a big fan of Gilroy Garlic Festival and went there on a religious basis.
Right.
And then during a late night snack binge eating session during finals one time, I used to make French fries and I just tossed with olive oil, garlic, and some parsley and salt and pepper, and that's when they were created. And then put them on the menu when we first started at Fort Biersch in Palo Alto. Started at Candlestick Park at 81, the A section, the escalator, and there's a wine 30 feet, and then they got the cult-like following in sports. So we are the creator and the dominant force in garlic fries in the country.
Awesome. Thanks for talking with us, Dan.
The main thing is go buy a six-pack of it, because that's what we're all about.
There you
Following
go.
up some of the finest.
There you go. All right, this is the Food Tube Network signing out. The best brewery in San Jose, California, Gordon Biersch. Remember, whether you're eating in or eating out, Food Tube Network's got you covered.